Hey, animal enthusiasts! Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary tales of animals that changed history. From war heroes to scientific pioneers, these animals have left an indelible mark on the pages of our shared past. The first animal is Laika. Laika was the Soviet space dog. She was the first animal to orbit the Earth. Laika was launched aboard the Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2 on November 3, 1957. Laika was a female stray dog that she was selected for in Moscow's Soviet space program. She was chosen since they believe stray dogs are able to adapt to hard conditions and endurance of stress. Laika underwent the training by being enclosed into increasingly smaller cages to simulate the spacecraft. Laika was launched into orbit on November 3, 1957, on Sputnik 2. Unfortunately for it, Laika did not live to see the end of the mission. The spacecraft was not designed for re-entry, and she died a few hours after the launch. The next animal is Sher Ami. Sher Ami is a carrier pigeon who made a great contribution during World War I. In the Battle of the Argonne in October 1918, the Lost Battalion, a unit of the 77th Division, was trapped behind enemy lines and surrounded by the German forces. The situation was critical, and attempts to communicate with the trapped battalion by radio had been unsuccessful. Sher Ami was equipped with an important message attached to her leg. The message, which included the coordinates of the location of the Lost Battalion and a request for reinforcements, was delivered by Sher. She delivered the information to the Allies and saved the lives of between 150 and 200 soldiers of the Lost Battalion and was awarded the French Croix de Guerre Medal for valor. The next animal is Ham the Chimp. Ham the Chimp was a chimpanzee and one of the pioneers of the United States space program. Ham participated in the U.S. space program during the early 1960s, which endeavored to send humans into space. Ham underwent space training and was thoroughly preparing at the Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. On January 31, 1961, Ham was launched into space on the Mercury Redstone 2 spacecraft. The main aim of the MR2 mission was to test the spacecraft systems and collect information on the effects of space travel on a living organism. Ham's implementation of simple tasks proved that a living organism can work in a space environment and thus supplied valuable data for the preparation of human spaceflights. The next animal is Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney Phil is a groundhog and is in the tradition of Groundhog Day, which is annually celebrated on February 2nd in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. In folklore, it is said that the 2nd of February, if Punxsutawney Phil sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't see his shadow, early spring is predicted. Since German immigrants were the first ones to immigrate to the United States, they are believed to be the first ones to introduce the tradition, but later on it developed into use of a groundhog. The Groundhog Club is said to consider Punxsutawney Phil to be an immortal groundhog. The club reckons that there is but one Punxsutawney Phil, and he quaffs a special elixir that enables him to live longer. The next animal is Dolly the sheep. Dolly the sheep was the first mammal to be cloned from an adult cell using somatic cell nuclear transfer. The birth of Dolly was a big milestone in the field of biotechnology and genetics. Dolly was born on July 5, 1996 at the Roslin Institute in Scotland as the first ever mammal cloned from the cell of an adult. Dolly challenged the old dogma that genetic information in the cells of adult organisms is irreversibly differentiated. Thus, Dolly's birth was it led to the development of new fields of study in genetics and cloning theory, while Dolly the sheep revived the discussion about the possible copying of human beings. The cloning and genetic engineering ethics considerations have evolved to become the focal points of such debate. The next animal is David Greybeard's. David Greybeard's was a pet chimpanzee for the primatologist Jane Goodall, who studied wild chimps. Jane Goodall first saw David Greybeard using tools, namely bundles of grass stems, to get termites from a termite nest on October 5, 1960. This finding disproved the earlier standing notion that only humans were tool makers. Davy Houston's tool usage set a new standard in the study of the cognitive capabilities of animals that are not humans. It was the first time evidence of chimpanzees performing complex problem solving and tool making were shown. Instead of being named with numbers, chimpanzees Jane Goodall studied were given names. The next animal is Smokey. Smokey was a famous war dog who was active during World War II. Smokey was a very small Yorkshire Terrier who weighed no more than 4 pounds. However, she contributed greatly to it even though she was small in size. She went on more than 150 air raids. Smokey's major advantage as a small dog was she could fit areas that the big dogs could not enter. One of Smokey's significant contributions was setting up the main communication line. She sent cable through a short and small pipe which was 70 feet long, helping to create communication between outposts. Her memory remains as a symbol of the role that even small animals played in helping soldiers during the war. The next animal is Stubby. Stubby was a dog that fought with the American Expeditionary Forces during World War I. He is the most decorated war dog of any war. Sergeant Stubby was a bull terrier born in York, Connecticut at the Yale University campus in 1917. Stubby saw combat in trench warfare in France with the 102nd Infantry Regiment, 26th Division. Stubby took part in 4 offensive and 17 battles. His excellent sense of smell and hearing made him a lifesaver as he could warn the unit of the enemy gas attacks. The soldier became a master in seeking out wounded personnel in the battlefield. The dog gained a number of military awards for his efforts, among others the Purple Heart and the Silver Star. The next animal is Montausel. Montausel was among the earliest animals to fly on a machine made by humans. In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers invented a hot air balloon with a sheep, a duck, and a rooster on board. On September 19, 1783, the trio set off a history-making event. The balloon was floating for 8 minutes over Paris up to 1,500 feet and 2 miles distance. Though the animals might have been confused as a result of the experience, they landed safely, which made it possible for manned flights. The sheep was chosen because its physiology is similar to that of the humans. Montgolfier's bravery opened up a new chapter in aviation history, and furthermore, the last animal is Balto. Balto is a husky sled dog, one of the most known sled dogs for his role in the Serum Run to Nome, Alaska in 1925. The only way Serum to Nome found was via a sled dog relay through the severe winter of Alaska. This Serum Run covered about 700 miles with a temperature of about -20 to -40 degrees. Balto and his team confronted the difficult sled dog difficulties of frozen rivers and strong winds. Balto's team was responsible for the last leg of the Serum Run, and on February 2, 1925, the life-saving serum was brought into Nome. With the dog team arriving, the crisis was over, which also helped save the lives of many in the community. Wow, what an incredible journey through history! From loyal companions on the battlefield to unsung heroes and scientific breakthroughs, these animals have truly left a lasting legacy. If you enjoyed learning about these amazing creatures, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below.